G'day, Aaron here, Rustic Traders, Brisbane, Australia. Here to show off another bike, as we do. Going to show off something a bit different this week. We're going to do a BMX, because I don't think we've really done any BMXs, apart from the Allanax, if you haven't watched that video. So what we have here is a rarer MooseGoose. Okay, this is called the MooseGoose. And you'll notice the really long seat tube. The company MooseGoose started in 1974. Well, the company that made MooseGooses, which was called BMX Products. And this was in, I think, Chatsworth in California. The first product that the company ever made was called the Moto Mag, which was the wheel. And if you know the MooseGoose Moto Mags, the wheels that are on that, the original spoked cast aluminium mag wheel, that is MooseGoose's first ever product. So that was 1974. And I think in 1975, they brought out their first BMX. So this one's 1980. We'll have a look at the serial number and tell you how to read that serial number in a second. The MooseGoose, compared to the Moto Mag or the California, this was designed and ridden by their team rider, Danny Oakley. He rode for MooseGoose, I think, from like 1977 to 1981. Famous name in early BMX racing, Danny Oakley. So he was a tall guy, so he made this bike for taller riders. And as you probably know, if you're into MooseGooses, there's a lot less of these around than there is of the Moto Mags and the Californias. So again, what makes it different? The geometry is the giant seat pole, and in addition, you've got a really large head tube. We've got original Skyway 2 mags. They do a reproduction, but you know this isn't the reproduction by the metal star at the center. Got Skyway 2 stamped in there. And I mean, these are in really exceptional condition for early wheels from the 80s. The tires, I would imagine, a reproduction. A whole heap of the stuff on these stamped MooseGoose. The headset, a bit hard to read there, but the headset is stamped MooseGoose. This is the famous MooseGoose gold stem, they call it. The double clamp, which is kind of a sign of early ones. And then you've got Maurice, the mascot for MooseGoose. His name is Maurice. That's him in there. Everybody knows the MooseGoose. So these bars wouldn't be original because they're Win bars. Still great bars, made in Japan. So, you know, prized at the time. Diacomp brakes. I don't think any of the stuff on here is reproduction apart from the tires. Got MooseGoose branded grips. We also have MooseGoose here on the seat clamp. There's Maurice in front of the original Moto Mag that we were talking about there. Yeah, there you go, Chatsworth, California, BMX Products, USA. We also have MooseGoose on the Spider. MooseGoose on the crank arm. This is a nice set of pedals. KKT Lightnings. So Japanese made pedals. The seat is not a MooseGoose seat. I've not come across this particular seat before. It's a very nice seat. It's a padded seat instead of a hard plastic seat. I do have an original MooseGoose seat and it's a hard plastic seat. This one isn't, but I'm guessing it's a nice one. So this frame design here, they called a loop tail, because instead of there being one bar that ends here and another bar that ends here welded, it's a loop. So they call that a loop tail. So it's a nice flowing design. The MooseGoose, these were all made by engineers. And MooseGoose at the time was famous for having beautiful welds. Some of the cheaper bikes were just arc welds. And if you look closely, they call them a bubblegum weld. They're just kind of a bulged up arc weld, where you can tell someone that knew what they were doing engineered these. And the story was the original owner could tell who had welded the bike by the welds, because each of the frame makers did the welds. It was like their signature. They did them slightly differently. MooseGoose itself, 1974 to 1985 is the original MooseGoose because it was sold in 1985. It has been sold multiple times since. You can look it up online. But your real MooseGooses, I guess you call them, as in the original ones, 1974 or 1975, to actually find a BMX, to 1985. So this was distributed by BMX Promotions and G-Bung right here in Brisbane. So a bike that came in locally and has obviously stayed local. We've got MooseGoose stamped on the bottom bracket here. So all the original MooseGoose BMX products, parts on here. That's what you want to see. Now we talked about the serial number. We'll throw this upside down so we can have a look here. So here's the serial number. The key is CJ0. So the C, some people say it means made in California, and some things say that means it's a chromoly frame. The whole bike is chromoly, frame and forks. The J is the 10th letter in the alphabet, so that would be made in the 10th month of the year, so October, and the 0 represents 1980. So they would put the last, if it's 1979, then that would say 9. If it's 1981, that would say 1. So CJ0, chromoly, October, 1980. So they're a very easy read. None of the reproduction ones dated like that. So you can tell sometimes people try and pass off the reproductions as being original by putting old parts on it, but needs to have that serial number. So anyway, beautiful bike, very collectible. I would imagine as a whole bike like this, it's going to be worth $4,000 or more. If it had the Moto Mags on there, the Moto Mag wheels themselves as a pair are worth over $1,000. So of the originals, they're up to Moto Mag 3 now, so you can actually buy them again as a Moto Mag 3. But these Tufts are still worth really good money. In original Tufts in really good condition like this are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But yeah, this bike will be for sale for $4,000 or more. We'll see what the market's like at the time when I'm ready to sell it. Beautiful bike. I used to have a large collection of MooseGooses, sold them off years ago to go for older bikes. But this one, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to get a MooseGoose. I've never had one before, and honestly, I've probably only ever put my eyes on 2 MooseGooses ever before. I had probably 7 Moto Mags, so there's really not a lot of these MooseGooses around. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more videos. Like, subscribe. See you soon.